we all know the controversy going around here. Vince Russo had a bit of smack talk to give over in this channel about Tony Khan, but I'm not talking negatively about Vince Russo. I know Vince Russo has done questionable creative ideas for pro wrestling, for morally most of the mainstream criteria of wrestling has been in conversation. But at least he made wrestling shows a conversation. Whenever it comes over to talking about old storylines, controversial storylines, interesting characters, most of that was over the ideal of Vince Russo. And I have to appreciate him going over the forefront of making pro wrestling the way it is. Hell, I wouldn't have heard of the Attitude Era if it wasn't for most of the ideas that Vince Russo put over. And him getting disrespected by a guy that barely even have even half a tenure in the company, coming around talking shit because all you do is play thing with super indie smarts and insulting a guy like that. I don't get it. I have more questionable takes over the way you structure a wrestling show than how Vince Russo does a storyline. At least what he grasps is making sure people watch every week. That's just not expected all because you have a good wrestling match. Because you have a good product and you have a show that makes sure that every episode is must-see, leaves you over a big cliffhanger, has a surprise, makes sure it's unpredictable, or hell, even uncomfortable. Vince Russo would make it that show, make it like that just to make sure it's over the quality of having Sopranos. The only thing that he's doing is making sure that the wrestling doesn't overtake the storyline. The storyline's revolting around why people are getting interested, even if the match becomes a disappointment. And I have to respect that, because now you have a lot more people with the eyes to watch, even if the match goes to shit. Because it could be, oh, but Tony Khan, he won Booker of the Year. Why would you care about winning Booker of the Year? You think Jim Cornette gave a shit about winning Booker of the Year? Bill Watts? Any other creator or booker in the company care about getting something from a minuscule journalism about fake fighting? It's not that interesting. Tony, you're struggling to some near 1 million viewers while during the dying days of WCW, Vince Russo had their most viewed, most higher ratings in the year 2000. Vince Russo made sure that there was something to watch at least on Nitro over their dying days, and then he helped over, WrestleMania 15. What did you do, Orange Cassidy, Pac, and Kenny Omega? No one cares. He was pulling, still a 3.5, and that was at least below average over that point. Because back then, Nitros were getting a 5 point something. I understand that was the dying point of it, but at least that's higher ratings than what Monday Night Raw gets now. And you're getting 400,000 after SmackDown. That's not that enticing. You were even getting at least a minuscule of that back when you were competing with a developmental league. By the way, you're competing with a developmental league while Vince Russo was in the creative for, the number 1 and the number 2 biggest wrestling promotion in the country. That's kind of a bigger deal, especially a primetime show, also on a big network, facing off against another big network on a primetime show. Given an extensive budget, you're bragging about hitting a 1.2 on a program that's technically to help develop talent. If that was me, I would shoot myself. That's not how I would be talking shit. I would be talking shit on Monday Night Raw about getting a 2.1 while they were still getting a 1.4. That should be something to brag about. You're talking shit about getting a 1.2 on a developmental program where they average at least 650,000 viewers an episode. Just how emasculated you have with this 16-year-old haircut. You show no charisma. as an authoritative figure. You brag over Nick Khan. Is like, oh, it's such a. We already know it's an inside job, dude. Like, you're edging over bragging about having work rate matches over New Japan, creating over bookings, and you like brag like you're the nerd with the bigger collection of comic books than actually having star power, big ratings, big crossovers, or big advertisers. That's what you should be bragging about. You're bragging about having the most comics rather than having the most expensive stuff. Who does that? No entrepreneur over your your caliber should be bragging about having best matches involving stuff from other companies. That shouldn't be you. Your core product should be the thing selling it. You're not even benefiting Impact in New Japan how you've been doing business. The most you do is indulge over a couple tournaments and then having your one champion, just your one star on Dynamite, on Impact. And he's not even garnering ratings that Impact should be getting over having a world champion consistently show up on their programming more than he does on the core product. He makes all the world titles that he touch get less prestige because how mid-cardy he is. Tony Khan is not a booker. He's a super fan with a universe mode fetish that he doesn't know how to actually illustrate storylines and revolted around just wrestling, and he makes sure that the product declines because of that. That's why it's so uncool to be a wrestling fan, just over the extent that Tony Khan just doesn't know how the hell wrestling works or how to make a decent show. And I'm not trying to rag on him too much, but he's just a dick. He's an incompensating douchebag. Just the way he behaves. Like, yeah, just having, he calls himself the Forbidden Door. If Vince had that much of an emasculation, or at least that much of a bad, like, self-esteem, he wouldn't call himself anything other than, I'm the owner of my own company, don't fuck with me. That's Vince McMahon. This man is literally a Hulk grandfather, and he can fuck you up in near his 80s. And you're telling me that I still believe if you ever book a fight involving Vince McMahon and Tony Khan, Vince would decapitate him. He will treat him like those tribal guys from the Game of Thrones show. You cannot be wrong. I don't know how. I'm not going to be like I'm some kind of big super fan of Vince Russo. I've seen his work. It could be shoddy, but it can also be eye-catching. And I respect that even if it's probably a bad thing, it's steering over the right attention that I'm actually paying attention to it. Because you can have a good story, but if I'm not interested, you already lost me. That's a bad story. But just seeing over the looks of how he made WCW watchable, how he made Attitude Era the way it is, and of course had some of the best peak viewership for TNA until 2010. You cannot denounce that. As well as Vince Russo has made controversial work, it has shown progress and it has shown popularity. Hell, more people talk about Katie Vick, not Katie Vick, he didn't do that. Choppy Choppy Your PP more than they'll talk about the Chris Statlander poking people on the fucking forehead. That you cannot like say like that's not the way you should be making a storyline. Hell, I know how silly it is, but at least it caught my attention. And now Tony Khan's arousing that because most of everybody on AEW are preteen, liberal, whiny, entitled indie jobbers that know that without anybody else being an indie fan, they wouldn't have another shot on a wrestling program on primetime TV. The most they would have is a decent 10,000 viewership on the Fight Network, with the rest of the other indie super indie jobbers shows on TV like NWA Power, MLW, or hell, even Impact on Twitch, and they barely even uh, garner at least near half of the 10,000 viewership. It's not that impressive. And now Tony Khan has the mitigated the absolute balls to just like take shots on a guy that already like creatively has him beat by a landslide. That's stupid. It's the same way I was when I was talking about Jim Ross knowing that this bullshit is gonna fail. He did this first to just get it in on WWE, that I'll just become the ace commentator somewhere else by just looking at the wrestling and looking at the way that the wrestlers even portray or even respect the legends. It shows that Jim Ross wants to end it. Whenever I hear him on commentary, you think he sounds anywhere enthusiastic when he sees the 25th Tope Suicida, or a Canadian Destroyer, or hell, see Chris Statlander poke somebody in the fucking nose, or what other like double chin promo Chris Jericho does. JR wants to end it. Tony Khan is of course jacking himself over on top 10 match of the year lists, more than most viewed TV show of 2021. If that isn't getting his attention more, then Tony Khan's already failing himself as an entrepreneur, a wrestling booker, because we all know that money isn't self-earned, Tony. And just knowing how you even are taking constructive criticism, or even eliciting kayfabe for your own TV show, I already know that you don't even know much about wrestling anyway. So, that's it for me. Fuck Tony Khan. I've seen Dixie Carter be more business competent than this. And Dixie Carter has now devalued over Impact, that they moved over to like 4 different TV channels in under 2 years. And it's only been 2 years since Dynamite been on TNT. And guess what? They're moving over on TBS with their Ace show. Reruns of fucking chatter there. And American Dad. Nobody wants to see that garbage except somebody dying in their 50s. But that's it coming for me. Tell me how you guys feel about this. I have nothing against Tony Khan personally. I do feel like the way they structured the show was completely more shoddy, and the way they deal with their creative is even worse. Especially with their tag teams that they say is the key part of Dynamite, and yet you guys still, like, make their matches completely unimportant, but long at the same time. But that's just my opinion. Thank you for watching.